From the depths of Bethany, Connecticut, emanates Call to the Bullpen. My name is Jared Silberkleit.
And I'm Chase B.
And I'm the best co-host out of the three of us, Austin Keeney.
Do you have to say that every time?
Every single time. If I didn't say it every time, would it be true?
Well, you need reassurance because it's definitely not.
Narcissism mania is running wild on Call to the Bullpen.
Narcolepsy?
Yeah, no, not the same thing. But, yeah, we're here for Week 7 recap. We're trying something new this week. And, yeah, this episode is going to be, for our NFL talk, we're just recapping Week 7. But before we get into that, the most important series of baseball of the calendar year is about to get underway in
or the most boring for Yankee fans and people that hate the Dodgers like me.
I wouldn't say boring.
I'm not going to watch a single minute of this World Series. I've played baseball my entire life.
I wouldn't say boring. I would just say painfully frustrating if you're, yeah.
You dislike the Dodgers as well? Like, obviously, I know you don't like the Red Sox.
Yeah, if you listen to our last week's MLB episode, I explained to everybody that I extremely hate the Dodgers. I just don't like them. They're not even like the bad guy on the block where they bought everybody and everyone's mad that they spent their money because, like, really the Red Sox did the same thing. And honestly, I'd rather the Red Sox win this because I just hate the Dodgers. There's just something about everybody on that team that just makes me so angry. Manny Machado especially is...
Puig is very arrogant,
yeah,
too.
And Manny Machado is the ringleader of the punk circus. I absolutely hate that.
You do realize Manny Machado might be in pinstripes next year.
Absolutely not, because he's a punk. He's a punk.
Yeah, if you don't think they're interested, especially after Didi Gregorius just got the Tommy John surgery. I mean,
that's why that's part of the reason they didn't re-sign Cano. He doesn't hustle. He's got a terrible attitude. He's terrible for the locker room. I mean, he literally went to an interview and told everybody in the media audience, "I do not hustle. I will not hustle. I will not run. I don't care what anybody says." And the Dodgers had every intention of signing him long term after they traded for him during this season.
And he's still one of the most productive.
Yes, but now they have zero interest in signing him because they realize how big of a punk he is. Even the Dodgers don't like him, and they are literally a circus.
I think that he will be allowed...
I hate Manny Machado.
I think he will be allowed less, if he were to go to the Yankees, just the fact that, like, you're not the big fish in the small pond as far as talent goes anymore. I think that he's going to be under more, pressure to hold up his end there, because they don't have to...
We say that, but Cano did the same thing. Sanchez did the same thing. Sanchez still did it when he came back.
Well, you saw what happened to Sanchez. They dropped him in the lineup.
Because he couldn't hit. That had nothing to do with him not hustling. He was hitting $170. I would have dropped Judge if he was hitting $170 too.
Well, yeah, performance is everything. But I'm saying, like, performance-wise, Manny Machado, if he were to go to the Yankees, he wouldn't be the only, young 20-something in the prime of his career, so he wouldn't have as much leeway with ownership. But anyway, that is all, speculation. And I think if we're talking Dodgers here, I actually do really want to see them win this World Series. I mean, of course, they're playing the Red Sox. I have to root against Boston.
I'd rather see somebody strike and have there be a World Series.
It's because of one guy, Clayton Kershaw. If there's one thing that drives me nuts in sports, it's the narrative that we judge a player by the amount of championships that we have. And we can say that so-and-so is like, oh, man, he's not one of the all-time greats because he doesn't have a championship. There's a reason that Dan Marino isn't talked about as one of the NFL's all-time great quarterbacks, even though statistically he absolutely is. It's because he played on terrible Miami teams and pretty much never had an opportunity to compete for that.
I mean, they weren't terrible. Didn't they go undefeated one season?
He wasn't. No. Dan Marino was like a little kid when that was going on.
Or 14-1, 15-1. One of the seasons when they made it to the AFC Championship, he led them to like a 15-1.
For the most part, he didn't play on very good teams. But either way, you could say the same thing with Peyton Manning. Like, it was like, oh, the second ring cemented his legacy. It's like, no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't have. It was already set in stone before that. But anyway, I think with Kershaw, he'll finally get that monkey off his back if he finally, quote unquote, wins the big one, even though we've seen he could perform in the regular season and postseason by now. But Boston's on a roll. They're unquestionably on a roll. They ran roughshod over the Astros in the ALCS. I think it kind of surprised everybody because we talked about the Astros pitching depth and the fact that they had all these stud pitchers throughout that rotation, any of whom I would have taken, I'd say, over any Boston pitcher due to Sale's injury. And Boston, not only did they win in 5 games, but 3 of those wins came in Houston. Boston is now undefeated on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Boston is a great team. I mean, we've said it every MLB episode that we've had, and there's a reason that they're in the World Series. I mean, they had one of the best records in baseball, if not the best, and they were a phenomenal team, and they're very hard to play against. I mean, they have lineup depth, they have bullpen depth, they have starting pitching depth, and finally David Price came out and actually did something productive in the playoffs. So...
And yeah, it's been like, guys like him, Jackie Bradley, Rafael Devers. They're the ones who came up with the big hits in the ALCS too. It really, I mean, Mookie Betts and JD Martinez both had unbelievable seasons, but they really haven't anchored this team in the postseason, or I should say that they haven't been called upon to do something like that. It's really been the bottom half of the lineup, the unsung heroes that have catapulted Boston to what's been a very, very strong postseason so far. But I think with the Dodgers, I feel like they got to be hungry. I know with Boston, they've got the pressure of, you had a 108-win season, and if you don't cap it off with a World Series championship, then it was all for nothing. But the Dodgers, 3 years in a row, they made it to the NLCS. Now, 2 years in a row, they made it to the World Series. Last year, they went all the way to Game 7 and lost. So I feel like they're getting closer and closer, and this has to be the year that they feel they got to seal the deal. But nonetheless, I'm going to predict a Boston win here. I really have a hard time seeing them losing this series in... I don't even think it's going to go past the Game 6. I'm actually going to go ahead and predict in 5, as much as I don't want to see it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 5 or 6. I don't see it being a sweep. I don't think it'll go 7. So I'll say somewhere in the line of the 5-6 range. I really, again, I don't want to see either team win. I hate LA, and obviously for being a Yankee fan, I would not want to see the Boston Red Sox win. But honestly, I'm going to pull for the American League in this one, and I'm going to go against the rest of my New York Yankee fans and vote for the rivalry here. I'm going with the Red Sox. As much as I really don't want to say it, I don't want to hear it, I don't even want to think about it. I wish this wasn't even happening, and I had a third option, but you know how that is with only having 2 options and votes here.
This had to have been the most undesirable World Series matchup, like for us.
Well, I mean, for us. For LA fans or for Boston fans, they're loving it. But yeah, I mean, this was the last option that I wanted to have.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a nightmare the way this postseason went down, because I would have been pretty excited about the Brewers, coming up with this new team, and it would have done a lot for that city, that fan base, and yeah, it's disappointing, especially considering they forced the Game 7. It was a great NLCS too, but that's what we got. Now, Chase, actually, before we dive into the NFL talk,
what's up, buddy?
As a non-hardcore baseball fan, is there any interest from you in this series? And if so, why? Or if not, why not?
Well, I heard a stat that this was the first time the Dodgers were playing the Red Sox in 102 years or something like that.
The last time the Dodgers played the Red Sox, Babe Ruth pitched. I think it was 1916, if I'm correct. I may be a year or 2 off, but, 100 years give or take. But I believe it was 1916.
And the Dodgers,
so that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That's a cool narrative to have. And also, I know that the Dodgers are and I know you said that Machado was a big kid in a small pond, but the Dodgers have a pretty big fan base out in LA. So I think it's not like they're just random teams. These are well-known teams that people across the country are fans of. So I thought that might be pretty cool. It'd be good for the ratings.
Oh, without question. And just to clarify, when I meant to say that Machado is unquestionably the top performing player on the team, and the reason I made the statement of big fish, small pond is the fact that if he was in the Yankees lineup, he wouldn't perhaps stand out as much statistically, just because there's a bunch of other power guys in there that can hit for average as well and drive in runs and do all that.
Yeah, and LA doesn't have a lot of young guys like Machado, so I think that's where you were going to.
Like
Correct.
Bellinger,
Correct.
Puig, yeah.
Roger.
Yep. So yeah, that's the World Series, everybody.
Roger.
I absolutely hate you for saying that.
This is great. Call to the bullpen, everybody.
We're going to get into the NFL now.
We are, yeah.
Jared, kick it off.
Okay, we started off with Thursday night destruction as the...
Oh, yeah. Why is Jared kicking it off?
Yeah, you should kick it off. This is your Super Bowl, man. Take it away.
This was the Broncos Super Bowl, and Von Miller said it best. We are going to kick their ass, and that's exactly what
That
we
is
did.
a quote, ladies and gentlemen.
If the boys could play like this on defense, we actually might have a shot with a middle-of-the-road QB like Case Keenum. But unfortunately, I think that this was just a product of a bad offensive line and a rookie quarterback going against this strong pass rush. And we got up early, so they couldn't really rely on David Johnson. But it was I mean, I'm happy to see it. It reminded me of 2015 days when we won the Super Bowl with this type of defense. Very exciting. I'm also aware that we will be traveling to Arrowhead next week, so I'm going to enjoy the time I can happy.
A little bit of extra
because
rest.
I don't know how long it's going to last.
We will talk about that in our preview of next week. Currently, my significant other, being a Chiefs fan, is dancing in our living room with the fact that the Broncos have to play the Chiefs next week and flipping off Chase for being a Broncos fan. So when we get to the preview,
Watch out for those Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk a little bit more about that one. But with that, the Broncos won their game against the Cardinals 45-10.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even close. And I mean, this just goes to show that when sometimes when your defense is so good that it becomes your offense, I mean, that's when you have a good unit in there. And the Broncos came out on the losing end against some quality football teams, but they're not, just because they had a little losing streak doesn't mean that they're a bottom level NFL team. And I think that especially they're waiting for an opponent like this to take advantage of.
Yeah, no, I think that if we played in a weaker division like the NFC East or the AFC South, that we would actually have a chance at winning the division. But with the Chiefs, who are the powerhouses that they've shown to be, and the Chargers, who are also, I think, 5-2 now, it'll be tough for a playoff spot. I'll be happy if we end somewhere around 500.
Crack 500, yeah, maybe. But, yeah, so big win for Denver. And we all had the Broncos there, so we got off to a good start, but you'll see how quickly that goes downhill for me.
Because them pesky Titans, baby, they are obnoxious, and they lost.
The Titans, they
we tried to talk you out of this. Let's not forget.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
The Titans are annoying,
I really feel stupid picking a team that lost by 1 point in London. They had their tea and trumpets, but they couldn't get the victory.
Did they lose?
They did lose.
But
if you watched the game, the Chargers were clearly the better team, and they played without Melvin Gordon as well. I think that the Titans went for it on the conversion to 2 for the win because they knew that they wouldn't beat them in overtime. So I think it's that simple. The Titans got lucky. They got hot in the second half. And
just more of that aggressive play calling that we've seen this year. I mean, honestly, this is the first, I don't want to say the first year, but it's definitely that aggressive fourth down play calling, overtime, go for the victory, late in the fourth, go for the victory play calling that we've seen. There's not a lot of teams that are playing for these ties, which is honestly nice to see that they're kind of going with the decisive route. But unfortunately, the Titans just fell up short with that option, But a simple completion or a run for a touchdown or for the 2-point conversion, I apologize, is a totally different conversation that we're having right now. So, I mean, it's really a flip of a coin. It's crazy to see how fast a game can change.
And you see it oftentimes with teams, especially like on the road. And I mean, here you're really in uncharted territory in London with them just going for the win and not wanting to chance overtime. But, kind of a setback for the Titans, especially with the Texans emerging in that division. This was kind of not a game that you wanted to lose, especially now, the Titans, I believe this is their 3rd loss in a row. So, things are...
the Titans are turning out to be who we thought they were.
Yeah. Definitely
a middle-of-the-road team.
Definitely, very middle of the road. But, I mean, now they could be trending even more downward. Much like the Jaguars, surprisingly, but we'll get to that in a moment. Chase, you and Austin both had the Chargers winning this game. You were correct. I was incorrect with the picking the Titans.
Which, for those of you who can't count, Chase and I are at 2-1, and Jared is at 1-1.
Yeah, I don't know where the 1.
I don't know either. Yeah, there was a third game in there somewhere, and there wasn't. So we are at 2-0, and Jared is at 1-1.
1-1, exactly.
Math.
All right.
Again, for those who can't count, and that includes myself in that conversation.
Pats at the Bears. This ended up being, I think, the shootout a lot of us expected it to be. I gotta say, I think the Bears are really finding their groove offensively. Trubisky kind of got off to a little bit of an auspicious start this season, but the fact that he pretty much went, toe-to-toe with Brady here and matching him down all the way down and taking the lead at times in what ended up being a really close game. I think the Bears, this was an encouraging effort, even though it's their 2nd loss in a row. They go to 3-3. This was, nonetheless, they gave the Pats a heck of a game.
Yeah, no, the Bears look good, and so does Mitchell Trubisky. I'm very surprised. I thought that he was probably one of the weaker of the quarterbacks in the class that he came out with.
When they traded up for him, everyone was saying, how stupid Chicago was. He wasn't worth it.
Yeah, so in that retrospect, it's good to see Trubisky throwing the ball. I think the Pats still have a weak defense, and they pretty much rely on Tom Brady.
They do.
and what the Pats actually suffered some serious injuries before the game and during the game.
Gronk.
Yeah, Gronk came out, didn't make the trip to Chicago, so that hurts. And they're thinking it's his back; it could be a couple weeks. And then also, Sony Michel tore his knee or knee scope, something like that.
He did not tear anything as of today. The update is that he may miss time. They don't even know if he's going to miss time. His knee just hurts at this point. They did an MRI, and I guess nothing came out of it. So I mean,
that's lucky.
They're hoping that he won't miss any time, but if he does, it's not going to be much according to the preliminary report. I mean, things could change by the time he runs again and he blows it out in practice or something, you know what I mean? But right now, it doesn't look like he's going to miss time if he misses any of
Well,
it.
that's very lucky because the Patriots look like a different team without Gronk and without their starting running back, Sony Michel, who has proven himself as an elite back, really.
And you're going to need all the offensive weapons you can get, obviously, when you're the Pats, and you're pretty much, you're if you're winning games, you're winning it by just outslinging teams, and Brady needs help. We know Tom Brady is who he is, but just like any quarterback, he's statistically better throughout his career when he has more quality options to throw the ball to. So, you need to get those guys involved, especially with what Michel's been able to produce for them and what's been a pretty good rookie year so far.
Also, a small applaud for the Patriots special teams because they came up with 2 touchdowns this game, which really put them ahead of the Bears. I think it was a return touchdown by Cordell Patterson and a blocked punt for a touchdown. So you get those extra 14 points. Makes it a little bit easier coming back.
Cordell also, that was a redemption return because he did fumble, I think, 2 drives, maybe 3 drives earlier. It was either a punt or a kickoff, I don't remember, but he was running down and somebody, dropped their helmet into the ball and popped it out, and another one of the Bears.
And then he comes back and returns a touchdown.
Exactly.
There you go. That's a good story right there.
He fumbled it on a kickoff or a punt and then came back and returned 2 or 3 drives later for one. So definitely a redemption there, which is good for him. So with that, the Patriots won that game 38-31. Jared goes to 2-1 on the week. Chase and myself go to 3-0.
Next up, we have the nail biter, the game of the week, as we all expected. The Bills at the Colts. The Colts won and gave Derek Anderson a very rude welcome back to the NFL. 3 interceptions all in the second half, I believe.
Yeah, what is there to say about this game?
That sums it up.
Andrew Luck threw for barely over 100 yards. I guess the story of the day is Marlon Mack is a pretty good running back.
Correct, yeah. Andrew Luck was saying, keep running the ball. Let's keep running it. And,
So
made him pay.
The Colts have a running game now, maybe,
or was it just a fluke?
They have a running game against the Bills.
They have a running game against the Bills.
Take that for what it is.
Take that for what you will. But
and at that, Jared goes to 3-1. Chase and Austin 4-0. We'll move on to the Texans and the Jaguars. This was surprising. I mean,
kind of, not really. A little bit.
The score was surprising, absolutely. 20-7?
A little. Well, I mean, the Jaguars, they're when you have an offense like this, they're susceptible to performances like this, and the Texans defense has been playing much better during this resurgence that they've experienced. So, although I thought the Jaguars were going to win, I think that this is...
You know why the Jaguars weren't going to win?
Why?
You know why this wasn't surprising?
Because they gotta go
Because the Texans gotta win out, baby.
They do have
said it.
They do have
gotta say it again.
Yeah, they do have to win out.
They're gonna keep winning out, baby. I mean, since I said it, they won every single game. I'm gonna jinx them this week by saying it again. But damn, is it happening? The Texans look great
now
right
they look like they have the best defense in that division. I mean, the Jaguars...
Which they were supposed to have from the beginning.
No. The Jaguars were supposed to.
Well, I mean, that's fair. They were supposed to be a top-tier defense from the beginning, which is where my whole statement of they were probably going to make it to the Super Bowl came, and then they started playing like absolute poopy. So...
Yeah.
Listen, the problem here is that Leonard Fournette is still not playing for the
and
Jaguars.
Blake Bortles is horrible.
Blake Bortles is going to continue to be the starting quarterback as of today. So,
well, there's no other options. They're not going to go with Cody Kessler, and they're not going to go sign Colin Kaepernick. That's for sure. So,
no, you're right.
Unless Blake Bortles can, I don't know, turn into Tom Brady in the next 6 days or whatever it is from now. I'm sorry, but this team's not going to win with Bortles throwing it 40 times.
Maybe they could look into trading for Nick Foles or something. He's sitting on the bench doing nothing right now.
Well, they only gave him 12.
Or Derek Carr.
Ooh. Tasty. We'll get into that.
Yeah, he should be on the market right now.
Everybody wearing a Raiders uniform is on the market, apparently.
Well, anybody that anybody else wants. But, Yeah, the Texans are definitely coming up. They're coming up. Bortles with 2 lost fumbles, and they let him get through 12 pass attempts before they yanked him. And the Jags are trending downward now. I don't think anybody thought this team was going to experience a 3-game losing streak this year. I think that back-to-back weeks, these are games that most people thought they were going to win, and especially now they've now dropped 2 very crucial division games at home.
Absolutely.
They've lost 2 home division games to the Texans and the Titans, so that's not good.
It doesn't look good for the Jags right now.
Now the pressure's on them, 100%.
And with that, Texans win that game 20-7.
They did.
Jared had the Jaguars 3-2 on the week. Chase, Jaguars 4-1. Your boy, the Texans 5-0.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Just saying. All right. Lions, Dolphins. Lions win by a score of 32-21. Chasey B, what you got?
Well, I am probably just a happy schoolgirl to see Brock Osweiler not win another game.
Are you telling me that Brocktober is over?
Thank God it couldn't have ended soon enough. Let's get into November.
The Dolphins defense, where was it? We haven't seen it in a month.
Well, Dolphins don't really have a defense.
But
so
it was playing pretty all right at first.
I think that Brock Osweiler just kind of lit a fire into them last week, and, who else have they beaten? They beat
the Jets. They beat the Titans in week 1.
Okay, so crap.
And the other win was against, let's see, it was in week 3, and they defeated the, hold on,
Hold on,
everybody.
It to me.
Give me a second. The Raiders.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
All right, so these are 3 non-quality wins, everybody.
And now that explains who the Dolphins are.
Well, hang on. We got to mention that the Titans and the Jets are 3-4 because they lost to Miami. They made them losers.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm not really high on the Dolphins. They started off their hot streak. They're now coming to form. And the Lions are actually trending up a little bit.
Which is surprising.
They were rested. They were coming off a bye here. Chill out.
But what's their record now? 3-3?
3-3.
I mean, they're right there. The Packers are 3-2-1. The Vikings are 4-2-1.
I think the Vikings are building momentum, though.
I think the Vikings are a product of good opponents or bad opponents.
No. Listen, we also at the beginning of the season, everybody knew how talented Minnesota was. They had a couple hiccups early in the season. They had that one. If you take away that loss to Buffalo, has their season really been that disastrous?
They also lost to the Rams, and they lost.
They lost to the best team in football.
Right, so they tied the Packers at home.
And they gave the Rams a game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. You make a good point. I don't see it. You look at them and you really see Super Bowl contender, because I don't.
I think that they were expected to be. And I think they're starting to round into form. I mean, yeah, okay, the Jets are not great, but again, this is a confidence builder. Maybe you get to these are supposed to be warm up games basically. So when they get to those games that matter, maybe that rematch with the Packers later in the season, if they can continue, just sharpening everything out, and they should be right where they want to be. I don't think I expected them to be at the top of the NFC as far as the best team, but they should be up there with the prime Super Bowl contenders.
Well, they were expected to be at the top of the NFC.
Not better than the Rams
before the season started. Yes, they were. They were absolutely.
I don't think anyone.
They were I don't think. They lost in the conference finals last year.
Correct, but the Rams are so loaded. I mean,
nobody knew what to expect from the Rams. But I'm saying before the season even started, they're absolutely top 2 teams in the NFC. There's probably them and the Eagles.
Well, now they're 4-2-1, and who's got a better record than them? The Saints and the Rams. That's it.
I guess you're right. I don't know. I just don't see it with the Vikings. I think that they'll make the playoffs either as a wild card or with the division. I just don't think they're going to make it as far as
they've got a lot of talent on this team. A lot of talent. The defense hasn't been playing up to potential, but they got the talent.
All right, with that one,
they smoked them.
We got into the Vikings, but the Lions ended up winning that game.
Oh yeah, we're still talking about the Lions.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I had absolutely no idea what we're going to talk about.
But we're going to segue into the next game, which is the Vikings.
Yeah, let's lump these together.
It's a fatal 4-way between the Lions, the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Jets, and it ended in a tie with the Lions and the Vikings.
And then after the game ended, Tom Brady laid out Sam Darnold and stood over him, holding the championship belt high in the air, and that's the next pay-per-view main event.
And
with a 4-post Dallas Massacre.
So we all have the Lions. So that means I go to 5-1. Austin
No. Wait, there's a typo. I will admit to being wrong and picking the Dolphins.
Oh, okay.
Wrong.
I believed in Brocktober, everybody.
Well, there's your mistake.
They beat the Bears.
Wrong.
It was a one-time deal. I told you that Brock only beats the Bears.
It was. You're right.
I gave you that stat.
Chase goes to 5-1. Jared 4-2. Typing as I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Guess what I go to, everybody?
6-0.
So, I'm almost the Rams. 6-0, baby.
Jared actually goes to 3-3. Can you please do your job right?
What did I do? 3-3. Yeah, that's not math.
3-3.
Christ. All right. Vikings.
We were so
Jets.
prepared. The Vikings destroyed the Jets, just like we talked about a couple minutes ago. This was kind of the game where this is a game where you just gotta look good, dominating a lesser team, and I feel for Sam Darnold a little bit. This is a guy. Man, he's faced so many good defenses in his rookie season.
Well, it's good. It's molding him into a competitor. I see a lot of potential with Darnold, honestly.
I agree.
And the Jets have played well up to this point. They just ended up running into a buzzsaw that was the Vikings. I don't think that there's much to take from this game other than the Vikings are better than the Jets, and the Jets are a middle-of-the-road team who play teams hard.
They are, yeah. I agree.
That's pretty much it. I think that...
They're a developing team. Maybe
exactly.
In a couple years, they'll get to where they want to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
So with that one, I went 6-1. All right.
Jared, 4-3. You boy. Anybody? Can we do the math? Because I can't. 7-0.
That's all right. That's about to change.
Oh, yeah. It's about to change. Panthers at Eagles.
Did you know that 60% of the time the Panthers win every time?
I told you that the Panthers would bring it to the Eagles. I tried to get you boys on my side.
Hey, the Eagles let one slip away in the fourth quarter.
The Eagles are not the team of last year.
I know they're not good, but the Panthers. You really think the Panthers are going to go?
I still said they're going to miss the playoffs.
I don't think the. Actually, 11-5. 11-5, 10-6. Yeah,
you think so? Okay,
absolutely. I think that they're gonna lose to the Saints when they play them.
Yeah,
and they're gonna lose probably once either to the Falcons or once to the Bucks because they always split those division series. So yeah, I think the Panthers are gonna go 11-5, possibly a wild card spot. Yeah, because I think the Saints are taking this division, and with that they got a shot. You got Cam Newton; he's a superstar.
Yeah, but like we've said, usually it's typically this team lives and dies with Christian McCaffrey. As he goes, so does this offense, just because they don't have a lot of depth as far as wide receiver. But they pulled one out late against the Eagles. This was.
This was a humongous 17-point comeback, if that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, no, they did.
It was a fourth quarter 17-point comeback, the biggest comeback in the fourth quarter in franchise history for the Panthers, and it was an away game.
Yeah, definitely
against
demoralizing.
The defending Super Bowl
demoralizing
champions.
For Eagles fans.
So, yeah, this was kind of a big
deal. Eagles
deal.
are 3-4 now.
Yeah, the Eagles are 3-4. The Redskins win this week and go to 4-2. All of a sudden, it's the Redskins at the top all alone.
Which is sad.
We'll get to that game momentarily. We had another Browns.
Whoa! Jared 4-4. Chase 7-1.
I was trying to get away from that.
I told you, I'm right there with you, buddy.
I know. It's 7-1.
I'm
sorry, guys. I tried. If you were following me, I was 7-0 for one.
And the freaking overtime game.
Hang on, but before we get there, I want to update everybody. We got Monday Night Football on in the background, and it's the second quarter of this Giants-Falcons game, and neither team has scored. I am stunned. I don't know about you guys, but
I'm stunned that it's not 21-0 already in favor of the Falcons.
I'm shocked the Falcons aren't winning, but I'm not shocked that it's scoreless.
It's scoreless, right? No, seriously. The Falcons can't stop a nosebleed. The Giants are coming off letting up 34 points at home to a lesser perforing offense. So, we'll see how it goes.
It's
but
a battle of the
ineptitude. Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Do I now? But
Chase, I don't think you know what ineptitude means.
Yeah.
It's what you brush your teeth
with,
right?
Or how to spell it. Methyl ineptitude.
Can I hear it in a sentence?
It's a brand of vacuum cleaner.
Anyway, the Browns lose another overtime game.
Oh my gosh. Can they finish anything?
No.
I really hope they don't enjoy playing Mortal Kombat, because they can't finish a damn thing.
No, they need to stop adding on an extra quarter. These guys are going to be exhausted by the end of the season.
Yeah, with this young team, with all the rookies.
They're going to play 18 games.
You're right. Yeah, they essentially are. They should play the player.
Have they had 4 overtimes already?
The players should get overtime money.
They've already played an entire extra game.
Yeah, an entire extra game. Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Yeah. That's just yeah.
And they're not like overtime games that like end on the first drive. Like these games have gone down to the last second in every one.
Even though they lost, we got to give Baker Mayfield credit for rallying the team because they were losing pretty much this entire game, and then Baker with the comeback to force the overtime to begin with.
Well, what's there to say that we haven't already said about Baker? He's the real deal. He's going to be the guy for them, and it's awesome because
they finally have a franchise quarterback.
Found somebody. Exactly. He looks good. The Browns are and you got to be happy if you're a Browns fan, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not even a Browns fan, and I'm happy.
I'm losing, but
I should be a Browns fan because the Giants are worse than them.
They're fun. The Browns are not. I don't think they're headed for the playoffs or anything like that. But they've been fun to cheer for this year. And but a big field goal.
Sorry, there was a moment of silence there because it looked like Eli Manning blew his knee out. So we apologize. We all kind of winced for a second.
Everybody.
Yeah. He's all right.
Jared's upset.
Yeah, let's continue.
No, he's fine.
I lost my breath for a minute there.
Yeah,
I was out of happiness that he wasn't going to be our quarterback anymore. We're going to move on to the Saints and the Ravens.
We all lost on the Browns.
Yeah, we all lost on the Browns.
We all.
So I go to 7-2. Austin goes to 7-2, and Jared goes to 4-5. Ooh, Jared.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. It's about to get worse too. The Ravens narrowly lost to the Saints because Justin Tucker, who has been immaculate as far as extra points in his entire career, managed to miss for the first time ever. Just as Joe Flacco led a would-be game-tying drive at the end of the game, and that's the reason that we didn't have overtime here is because of a missed extra point, and the Saints beat the Ravens, and Drew Brees is he finally overcomes his greatest demon, and he finally beats all 32 NFL teams.
Did you see Justin Tucker's face? His eyes were wide open.
Every meme around the internet about the NFL is pictures of him right now. Like when the edibles kick in and he's staring at the dragons in the sky. I mean,
it was shocking.
Incredible.
It was so shocking that he was like, "What just happened?"
This is the year of the kickers, man.
Yeah, there has been.
It is the year of the placeholders. We talked about it last week.
We've got another thing in the next game too. But yeah, I mean, this was a really good game between two top contenders. I think it was everything that we expected it to be. I mean, Drew Brees battled, didn't have his best game as to be expected against a really elite defense. But they pulled it out.
Yeah, no, I think the Saints, if they show that they can win these tough road games, watch out. They look
especially against a defense like the Ravens. I mean, I know that I ripped Joe Flacco apart for being an absolute joke of a quarterback, and I will not stop doing that because I still firmly believe it. But you guys are not wrong. Their defense is very good, and they've been playing very good. So, I mean, to let up only 24 points to Drew Brees and the Saints, who have been playing very good football so far this year.
Brees only threw for a little over 200 yards.
Yeah,
they limited him.
He didn't play phenomenally, and I don't think that attests to him. I think it really attests to the Ravens defense here. It was a tough loss for the Ravens, who did play very well. I mean,
John Brown continues to emerge.
To only let up 7 through
one of the
3
more
quarters
underrated receivers in the game.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So with that, Saints win that one 24-23.
The Saints dropped to 4. The Ravens dropped to 4-3, but I think people still, especially after a game like playing them so close, I think people still see them as the class of that AFC North at the moment, right?
Yeah, I mean the Ravens, like we just said,
the Bengals just got destroyed by the Chiefs, and the Steelers aren't impressing anybody.
The Steelers actually go all the way to the top of the division with a bye.
Narrowly,
all 3 of their division
points.
Teams lost. The Bengals, the Ravens, and the. Who's the fourth one in that one? Who's the
Browns?
Oh, the Browns. That's right. Well, the Browns aren't really contending.
Correct. Unfortunately.
Correct. So with that one, the Saints go to 5-1.
Yep.
Ravens go to 4-3. Jared goes to 4-6.
I go to 7-3.
7-2?
7-3?
7-3.
If you're 8-2, how can I be 7-2?
Yeah.
I don't know. Math. And I go to 8-2.
More than ineptitude, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I can't do math tonight. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. And I go to 8-2, so I lead the pack so far. Cowboys at Redskins pull this one out.
Jason Garrett, I don't know how he hasn't been fired yet. This guy has been nothing but mediocre and conservative and soft for... It won't matter because Jason Garrett is calling the plays. Let me explain, guys. Jason Garrett, when the Cowboys got rid of Wade Phillips, this was about 10 years ago. He was expected to be just kind of that. Every team, we see this happen all the time. They just kind of have their coordinator get that temporary promotion to hold things together until ownership finds the coach that they really want. And Jason Garrett was supposed to be that guy. And here we are 10 years later. He's still that guy in charge. He's produced nothing but mediocre squads. I think, one playoff win? He's got one playoff win in his whole career. and or maybe 2. I take that back. Hasn't led the team to a conference championship game. Hasn't led them to the playoffs most seasons, and blows games like this because he's soft. I mean, yes, the Redskins got down by 10 points with time dwindling down in the fourth quarter, but they did get that touchdown to get them back into the game. They got the ball back, looking for that either go-ahead or game-tying drive, and just when they get to the cusp of field goal range, not like comfortable field goal, cusp of field goal range, he just goes conservative and with a run up the gut rather than trying to go for the end zone or at least get it way closer than 47 yards, and then what happens? False start knocks it back to 52 yards, and the ball dinks off the uprights, and it's no good, and the Redskins win.
You want to hear a crazy stat?
Go ahead.
Ezekiel Elliott only rushed the ball 6 times in the second half. You think that's probably an issue?
Probably an issue when your top receiver, again, Amari Cooper wasn't on the team at this point. Your top receiver is Cole Beasley, and you're absolutely a run-dominated offense. But yeah, you're giving Zeke the ball 6 times. And guess what? The one time, and of all that, one of his 6 carries comes at the very end of the game when you needed to throw it.
Yeah, he's looking like Andy Reid with that time management.
Derp!
All right, but this one, the Redskins, who have a surprisingly good defense that we're not giving them enough credit for.
They have done, yes.
Let's not forget.
Norman's really coming out and playing well.
I was going to say Josh Norman's on that team.
Josh Norman's really coming out and playing well.
We know he's really good. He's just kind of gone under the radar because he's played for the Redskins, who up to this point haven't been on anybody's radar.
You know what's surprising to me the most though?
Go ahead.
Alex Smith wins games.
Yep.
No, he is along for the ride.
Is he, Jared?
Listen,
because his record.
If I get on an airplane,
who's he riding? Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who are they riding?
No, he doesn't have any way to ride.
When Adrian Peterson plays well, this team wins.
He only ran for 90-something yards. It's not like he scored any touchdowns.
Austin, they gave him the ball 22 times. When you ask Alex Smith to throw the ball 40 times, they don't win.
So if he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry, that's not riding him. That's just handing the ball off to him a lot.
They are allowing him to be the focal point of the offense. Alex Smith is at his best when he is in situations like this, where he's just the game manager, when he's not asked to be a Drew Brees or a Peyton Manning, because he's not, although he's a veteran, he's not capable of dominating opposing defenses like that and slinging it 30, 40 times.
Well, yeah, I guess I understand what you're saying is that they're riding I wouldn't say Adrian Peterson, I would say that they're riding their defense.
Well, yeah,
and not having Alex Smith throw the ball 30 times or whatever.
Exactly. Because when we've seen, if the Redskins get behind, and it's going to happen this year, they get behind in games, situations where they're going to have to throw it more often, that's where this team is going to fall short. But they've proven their defense has played a lot better at home, and this is the type of game where you get up a little early, you stay ahead, control the clock, and control the pace with the defense.
So with that one, I go down to 7-4, I believe.
Yes.
Austin had that one, I believe, with the Redskins and goes to 9-2.
And I did have the Cowboys there because I thought that they'd be better than this.
Yeah, and that brings you to 4-7.
Yep.
Next up, we have the Rams at the 49ers, and this pretty much went as well as everyone expected. The Rams absolutely destroyed the 49ers at a score of 39-10. Wasn't even close. The Rams' defense actually was the shining point of the Rams this week with 4 sacks, I believe, by Aaron Donald.
4 sacks alone by Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
and some more from some others.
It was a shreckening, as some would say.
A dominating performance. I mean, you got C.J. Beathard who's getting sacked up and down the field and through 2 picks. I mean, it's just a nightmare matchup for a backup quarterback against the NFL's best team. Todd Gurley hit the end zone 3 times. Jared Goff only had to throw it 22, and he nailed 18 of the completions on those attempts. So, yeah, I mean, just a totally complete performance from the NFL's best team against one of the NFL's worst. That's pretty much all there is to say.
And unfortunately, it's sad to see for the 49ers. I mean, there was a lot of positive outlook coming into the season with, Jimmy Garoppolo and Richard Sherman and some of these guys that really could have stepped up and helped. And, having Jimmy G go down a couple weeks ago, obviously we pretty much knew their season was over. But to see it go to a 1-6 season so far, it's not the outcome they were hoping for, and definitely not the record that they were hoping for 7 games in.
No, not at all. Their season's down the tubes. Just hope, just keep losing. Hope for a high draft pick. They could definitely use one.
Yeah, I mean, they're not expecting to win anything with a bunch of backups out there.
I don't even think you want to at this point.
So with that, I go to 8-4. Jared goes to 5-7, and Austin gives me a little wink
with the 10-2.
10-2.
Yeah, man. Looking good.
And then we had Sunday Night Football. Sunday night shellacking, actually, I should say, because this was supposed to be a big primetime matchup between two of the AFC's top contenders, and then the Bengals forgot there was a game that night, I guess.
This was shocking, honestly. I really expected the Bengals.
I'm not shocked.
I mean, I didn't expect the Bengals to win.
No, me either. I'm saying I expected them to put up points at least.
Yeah.
Maybe some more. But
especially against a weak defense that the Chiefs have. But so guys stepped up. I mean, I watched maybe half this game. Honestly, I went to bed relatively early that night. But, D Ford, a guy that really hasn't done a lot this season, really stepped up. And, I watched him sack maybe one or two times, get in Andy Dalton's face to break up a couple throws. So, I mean, he was definitely out there, and there was guys that were really stepping up to make this defense look good last night.
Yeah, no doubt. Finally, the Chiefs finally get that one good defensive performance that they've been lacking all season long. I don't even know if it's a reflection of them, coming to play, or if you're the Bengals, are you kind of embarrassed? I mean, you certainly should be embarrassed on both sides of the ball, just how pathetic they looked here. Just not able to get anything going against a defense that's let up over 400 yards a game, and on top of that, your defense, just getting completely destroyed by Patrick Mahomes. So this got away from him early, and
every defense has been getting destroyed by Patrick Mahomes.
No, I understand that, but
it's the only reason I've only lost one game in our fantasy league is because Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Kareem Hunt are just disgusting this year.
No, yeah, but the Bengals are coming into this game with talent again. I think that this was an undesirable situation for them, but nonetheless, they could have at least I think raised a couple of eyebrows if they gave the Chiefs a game at Arrowhead, and instead they looked like the old Bungles. I kind of what maybe people expected going into the yeah. That's what their nickname when they're bad. Yeah,
the Bengals that can't win a primetime game.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
Can't win, can't compete, man. Yeah, they look bad.
So with that, we all had the Chiefs. That gives my record to a smooth 9-4.
And the Chiefs are way at the top of the AFC right now, 6-1.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not way at the top. You got it.
They are at the top.
They are at the top, but it's not like they're significantly ahead.
They're up there, and I don't think a lot of people are coming. Yeah, they're there,
but they're not way up there.
They're all the way up.
Oh my god, you're ridiculous.
They can stay up.
All right. Anyways, for that, Jared, you're 6-7. You have a losing record unless the Giants beat the Falcons.
No, I picked the Falcons for the last time. I picked the Falcons.
You're right.
Yes, he did.
And the Falcons
I really wanted you to pick the Giants.
Just an update: the Falcons are winning 7-0. The Giants, it's funny. I was talking to Chase off air.
Are they showing MSC?
They're kind of like a ticking time bomb in games like this, where they're scoreless with the other team for a while. But now the Falcons, capitalize with a blown coverage touchdown, and we're seeing a very odd commercial break, and it looks like some kind of revamped Legends of the Hidden Temple. This is
Legends of the Hidden Temple meets MSC.
The foam zone, I think, is what it said.
I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't know whether to be excited or scared or both.
So let's get back to the football talk. If the Falcons win, Jared ends up at a 7-7, 500 record on the week.
You can't say that I'm not brave.
Chase will end up at 10-4, which is not bad. If you bet $20 a game, you definitely made some money this week. And I will end up at 12-2.
Yeah,
and that was an Old Spice commercial.
It was.
That was an Old Spice commercial.
I want to see that game show. That game show looks amazing.
We could get that. If we get the funding, we could do a foam zone.
The lady at the end was holding up like a laundry basket of doom or something like that.
Detergent and Old Spice.
Oh man, God. Yeah. I feel gypped. I don't know about you, but you guys weren't gypped because you got a great episode. That's what you got.
And another one coming in.
Exactly. Lucky you. Who wouldn't want to be a listener of Call to the Bullpen? I mean, look at you guys. You get 2 episodes in a week.
So are we doing the whole Jared had the worst record, he has to go into the punishment of Wheel of Punishment?
The Wheel of Punishment, yeah. Jared definitely.
I have the clothespins on my nipples, and I'm ready to go.
Whoa, I don't know what type of punishment you're into.
That escalated
but
quickly.
That is not what we hear.
That escalated quickly.
I went to the wrong website.
And before we end the episode here, just as a live update at the 2-minute warning in the first half of the Giants-Falcons game, the Giants are up. I lied. The Falcons are up.
You wish the Giants
Jesus. The Falcons are up
7-0
against the Giants. Again, 2 minutes left in the first.
2-minute midfield.
Giants have the ball at the 50-yard line, and Eli with a completion
Completion!
downfield
That
to the
might-
12-yard line.
That might be the
Anyways,
longest pass of the year.
that's going to wrap up our review episode of Week 7 of the NFL season. Listen for us on Thursday, because we will also have our preview of Week 8 available.
Heck.
As always, we will be available on Spotify, iTunes, Libsyn, Stitcher, YouTube, which is regularly updated for every single episode that we upload. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. What else are we on, guys? Anything that I forgot? I don't think so.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it, man.
Check us out on all the social medias, all of our uploaded listening websites that you can listen to us on. If you want to contact us, you can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like we said, our email is at call to the bullpen podcast at gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions, comments, concerns, any topics that you guys want to hear, any punishments for the Wheel of Doom, Wheel of Punishment, Wheel of Misery, whatever you want to call it, anything that Jared has to do for his loss for this week. Let us know. Reach out to us. Give us some feedback. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Review us on iTunes. Give us a 5-star or not, but please give us a 5-star, and at least if you're not going to, give us a reason why so we can fix it. If it's Jared saying he's putting clothespins on his nipples, I could definitely rip them off so that you'll give us a 5-star. Yeah, whatever we can do to make your lives better. Listen to our podcast. Give us some feedback on what we're doing right or wrong. As always, this is Called to the Bullpen. Jared is moaning and groaning because Eli Manning is a terrible quarterback. What are we doing, gentlemen?
We're hanging up.